Hey guys, what's going on? Today, I'm going to be talking about why I think the Detroit Pistons are still rebuilding and what has set them back. Most teams don't take 10 plus years to rebuild, and the Pistons are well on track to hit the over on that. What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle. I'm coming back at you guys with another video. If you guys want to like and subscribe, I'm trying to hit 100 followers on here. I do different basketball videos about injuries, trades, what I think about certain subjects. And if you guys would like to hear more, please hit that subscribe button. But today, we're going to be talking about the Pistons just because they're not on a good start to the season, and they haven't been good for a while, except in the 2016 season when they snuck into the playoffs as the 8th seed. In my opinion, there's going to be three major roles that play a part in why Detroit is still in the slump that they are in. The first thing is going to be drafting. Drafting is huge. That's how you get your players. That's how you build for your future. Now, not everybody can be Golden State and get Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and have a Hall of Fame big three. Not everybody can be the San Antonio Spurs and get Tim Duncan, and then bring in Manu Ginobili, who's arguably one of the greatest six men of all time, and then get Tony Parker years later in the draft. It doesn't always work like that, and sometimes you do have to go out and get outside pieces. But for the most part, you have to have that superstar that you drafted to center your team around, or at least play a major role in your team's success. We've seen it in Miami. Dwayne Wade was that guy. We've seen it in Cleveland with LeBron. We've seen it in LA with Kobe. We've seen it, everywhere. Pascal and Toronto stepped up during the finals that year. Every finals, I would say that there's been a major player that was drafted to the team that won that played a major role. And Detroit has not done that, because I'm going to tell you guys who they've drafted. In 2010, our first overall pick was Greg Monroe. That was a great pick at the time, but again, he's not on our team. Year 2011, we picked Brandon Knight, 8 overall. That wasn't a horrible pick, wasn't a good pick. He just didn't pan out. 2012, we had arguably one of our best picks with Andre Drummond. Now again, Andre Drummond is probably a top 20, 25 Piston of all time. So that's not a bad pick. But again, he just did not produce the way he should have in Detroit. And that's mainly due to the game changing away from big men and centers, and Andre not being able to adapt to shooting and, that kind of stuff. And he's also not on our team anymore. 2013, we picked Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. In my opinion, again, that was a horrible pick. We picked him, in front of Giannis, in front of a lot of good players. 2014, we didn't have a first-round pick, but we did take Spencer Dinwiddie, who was an absolute baller. 2015, we took Stanley Johnson, who is with Toronto, I think. He's bounced around the league. I'm not even sure he's still in the league. Henry Ellison in 2016, I know is not in the league anymore. Luke Kennard in 2017, who we traded. We took Bruce Brown in 2018 because we didn't have a first-round pick for Blake Griffin. And the only two first-round picks we have on our roster are Killian Hayes and Sekou, who were picked this year and last year. Okay, so again, none of our picks have stayed in Detroit, and most of them have been picked. Luke Kennard was picked a pick before Donovan Mitchell, who was arguably Rookie of the Year that year. So you got to look at it like that. So Detroit just has not had their people stay in Detroit. Now, next up is going to be trades. Detroit has not had a signature trade that I can remember ever. Like, the only one I can think of is Allen Iverson for Chauncey Billups, and that was years ago. That made Pistons fans more mad because we lost that trade. We've never traded for a player to come here and be a superstar. And that also hurts you when you don't draft well. Again, we did trade for Blake Griffin, but we traded Tobias Harris. We got Tobias Harris on a steal from Orlando, but when you look back on the trade, Blake Griffin for Tobias straight up probably isn't even a fair deal right now. Plus, we gave them the first overall pick, or the first round pick, which happened to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is balling right now. And we gave them Boban, who's a fan favorite and always is going to be productive in the NBA. So giving up that much for, 3 years later, this little in return. Not that Blake Griffin's a bad player, but he just is dealing with injuries. So when you're giving up that much and then getting this in return where Tobias might not have even been a fair straight-up deal, that's what's going to hurt a team again. We're not getting those players to come in and win us games. And third and finally, the thing that's hurting Detroit the most is contracts. We have not been good with our contracts. We just paid Reggie Jackson, $17 million a year. We paid Ish Smith $10 million a year. I think John Lure was either $5 or $15 million. I don't remember. We had Josh Smith on the books for $5 million for how many years? We were paying Thon Maker like $7 million. So we had a lot of players on the books who just did not produce to be that valuable what we were paying them. And we were able to get out of a lot of those contracts. The main one we were stuck with is Andre, simply because we brought Blake in, and none of those players were even all-stars. Blake was, but that's because of injuries and players not wanting to play. So Blake stepped in. Andre, on the other hand, we were stuck with his contract because he signed a max deal. We were able to trade him, and not being able to get into the playoffs with two max players, with Blake and Andre, again, that's going to hurt your team. But we have two big men who we're paying max money to, and you can't do that. We're kind of going in reverse here. When we should be paying a point guard max money, we should be paying, shooters max money, and not Blake Griffin and Andre. But we were able to get out of Andre's contract, but now we got Blake Griffin's contract that's like $37 million. Now, this offseason I was looking, we had so much money to spend. I was like, damn, we're going to re-sign Christian Wood. We're going to re-sign Rose. We're going to re-sign Kennard. Let's go out, maybe get Gordon Hayward. How about we go out and we get, like, Jeremiah Grant, like we did. Let's throw some money at some players and see if they can come here. And Detroit did not do that at all. We ended up trading Kennard. We didn't re-sign Wood. We did sign Jeremiah Grant, but we did not sign Rose to an extension. And we didn't even offer Gordon Hayward. We didn't offer Bryn Forbes. We didn't offer any of these guys who could have came in and gave us shooting or been a solid player in Detroit. Now, one of the worst things about the contracts is that in Detroit, there's a premium to play here, right? We are not going to get guys for a couple $1 million like J.R. Smith to come and play on our bench, occasionally hit a three if we need. Those guys go to LA, those guys go to championship teams. If we want J.R. Smith, we're going to have to pay him, $7, $8, $9, $10 million to come here a year. So Detroit is just not a place where that's appealing to free agents. That's why I think Detroit is stuck in this rebuild, is just a mixture of bad drafting, not being able to win trades, and signing players on ridiculous contracts, that take up most of our room. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. And thank you guys for watching, and peace.